Hello, good morning. My name is Olawale Godwin. Welcome back to Econometrics. Yeah, it's been a long time here. I think the last time I was here was in 2020. So happy New Year, guys. So today we shall be talking about steep and gentle slopes. I don't intend on wasting your time, and this particular video is actually a response to some of my students' questions on on slopes. So whether what does it really mean if a slope is gentle, if a slope is steep, if you have a question and the question is saying something becomes less gentle, more steep, and so on and so forth. So those things could be a little bit confusing. So what do they really mean? And that is why this video is right here. So steep and gentle slopes, that's the topic. What is a slope? So we have a formal definition of slope. Slopes describe the direction, gentleness, or steepness of a line of curve. Slopes describe the direction, gentleness, or steepness of a line of curve. So at this stage, if you are seeing this video, I don't think you should have difficulty understanding what a negatively sloped line means, or maybe a positively sloped line. So what I just want us to get from, you have, for example, you have a demand curve. The normal demand curve is downward sloping, so that is a negatively sloped line, and a normal supply curve is upward sloping, which is a positively sloped line. So if a line is coming downwards, if a curve is coming downwards, that's negatively sloped, and if it's going upwards, that's positively sloped. So we can prove that using calculations, but that's not the objective of this particular video. So we just want to know what do we call steep, what do we call gentle. So now I have two curves here. Of course, they are demand curves. I'm not talking about elasticity here, just talking about the slope. So one is a vertical line. It is perfectly vertical, like if there's something like that, okay, it's a vertical line. So and one is an horizontal line, so it's not bending, it's just straight. So one is straight like this from left to right, and one is straight up from down to the top. So now I will give you my own definition of slopes that will make you understand this in a better way. So I will call a slope the degree of friendliness if one were to fall from the top of a line or curve. Now I will call a slope the degree of friendliness if one were to fall from the top of a line or curve. So now what do I mean? It just you consider a height, okay? If you're at the top and something pushes you and you fall, so to what extent are you going to get injured? To what extent are you going to get injured? Now, if you look at this line, if someone were here and something mistakenly, or maybe the person expressed a mistake and falls from this point to this point, so what do you think is going to happen? The person is likely to die or break many bones. So this is not friendly at all. This kind of line is not friendly as if one were to fall from the top of it to the bottom of it. So this is what we call a perfectly steeped line. It is steep. It is not friendly at all. Okay, so it is not friendly at all. Now, if one were to be on this particular line, and what makes someone to fall from the top of this also makes someone to fall from this. This is flat. Okay, so this is perfectly flat. So if one were to fall from this, of course, sometimes we have lines like this represents the gradient of our football field, and something you play, someone hits you and you fall. So if someone hits you and you fall, what's the biggest thing that was the worst thing that could happen to you? You stand up again, you dust your clothes, you dust your body, and stand up again, then continue whatever you are doing. Or sometimes you might just suffer one or two bruises. It's not going to be that much. So I'm not talking about you being hit by a very ferocious force or something like that. I'm just talking about falling normally. You just you hit your leg against a stone, or maybe someone just touches and something makes you fall. So you can't compare the kind of injury you are going to sustain here and the kind of injury you are going to sustain. In fact, in most cases, you might not suffer any injury at all. So if you have this kind of line, if you have this kind of slope, this is a very, very friendly slope. So this is the most friendly slope you could have if one were to fall from it, and that is how we call this a gentle slope. This is perfectly gentle. This is a perfectly gentle slope. So gentle slopes are very friendly. They are very friendly, but steep slopes are not. Steep slopes are not. So if one were to fall from the top of it to the bottom of it, it's a very serious thing. So now, I believe we've been able to understand this. So what then do we mean when we say something is less gentle, more gentle, less steep, and all of that? Now I have diagrams here. Now, starting from this vertical line, which I believe you understand to be a very unfriendly line now, okay, which is a steep line, a line with a steep slope. So now this line is now, so from this line, I was able to plot out two other lines, which is actually the same line, but this line is rotating now. Okay, so now look at it. This is the steep line, which is not friendly at all. So this is perfectly steep, and the line there, this is the arrow. The line there becomes this. That is, the line rotates, rightwards. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So the line rotates rightward. It's still the same line. Now, if one were to fall from this to this point, and one were to fall from this to this point, considering the same amount of force making the person fall, why do you think the person will sustain the more injury? Of course, here. Okay, so now we are saying that this line, as this line is rotating from this point to this point, it is becoming more friendly. So if the line is becoming more friendly, it is becoming more gentle. And if you say something is more gentle, that means it is less steep. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this line is becoming more friendly, even when to fall from the top of it to the bottom of it. And that, only gentle slopes are friendly, right? Alright, so it is becoming more friendly. It is not a perfectly gentle slope yet. So, but we could say that it is becoming more friendly or less steep. So it's still the same thing. Now this line moves to this line. This line rotates and becomes this. Like I said, it is the same line and become this. So now if I were to fall from this point to this point, and one were to fall from this point to this point, where will you sustain a more injury? Of course, this point. So that means moving from here to this point, the line is also becoming more friendly, or it is becoming friendlier. So this slope is more gentle than this. Alright, and this one is more gentle than this. And out of the three slopes, this is the most gentle slope. Okay, this is the most gentle slope. So this is more gentle. This is most gentle, more gentle, and this is okay. This is most gentle, more gentle, and this is steep. Alright, this is steep. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you. So this is a steep slope. It becomes less steep. Okay, and it becomes less steep again from here. Okay, so this is not as steep as this, and this is not as steep as this. So that is what we mean. And we can say this is more gentle than this, and this is as well more gentle than this. And if you compare this line with this line is friendlier than this line. Okay, so this is the friendliest line. Line C is the friendliest line. So line C is the most gentle. Okay, or we call it least steep. Since we are talking about three lines, so we call it least steep. Among the three, that is the least steep line. So if you have a question that is telling you that a line is becoming more gentle, so what does it mean? Simply means it is leaving this kind of point and it is already rotating either rightwards or leftwards. As long as it is no longer at this vertical line, it is becoming more gentle or less steep. So I have this other one which is just talking about the reverse of this. So we have a line like this, okay, which is a gentle line, a gentle slope. Okay, we also call slope gradient. Okay, so you could call it a gentle gradient or a gentle slope, whatever it is you want to call it. So you have this particular line. Then if you are to fall from this line, I don't even think you are going to get to this point. So I don't think I'll roll down much to get to this point because the line is very, very friendly. So you are most likely going to fall from here and just stand up again. So the injury you sustain from falling on any part of this line is minimal. Okay, so it's friendly. Now this line becomes sorry. Now this line becomes this. So as this line is rotating to become this line, it is rotating leftwards. Okay, you are going from the right to the left, from leftwards. So it is becoming less gentle and more dangerous. Do you understand? So it is more dangerous for you to fall from this point to this point. So we say that this line has left being gentle to being less gentle. And if we are saying it is becoming less gentle, that means it is becoming more steep. Okay, so I believe you understand that now. Now from this line, from line B now, so line B rotates to become line C. Oh, gosh. So if you were to fall from this point downwards, or you were to fall from this point downwards, where will you sustain the more injury? I think line C is pretty dangerous. So line C is a line that is most steep among A, B, C. Okay, among A, B, C. It has not become this yet, of course, but it is dangerous than every one of the other lines. So line C is the most steep or the least gentle of the three. So it's all about grammar. So it's the most steep or the least gentle of the three, followed by line B. So line B is steeper than line A. And line A is not even steep at all. Okay, so I believe you understand that. Now, it's not all about being straight lines every time. Sometimes, in economics you have curves, and not just economics. In other disciplines that deals with the use of graphs and all of that, you have curves. So I have two curves here to elaborate the point I'm trying to make. But once you've understood these two lines, of course, these two graphs and these other two graphs, it's going to be difficult to understand this particular graph. Now, we have this graph which is talking about an indifference curve. I believe you understand what an indifference curve means. And then we have this other line which is talking about the total product curve due to labor. So in this particular curve, capital is made constant. Okay, any other factor of production in this particular production function is made constant. So we are just looking for the total product as a result of changing labor. Okay, so that's about that. So now we have this indifference curve. Indifference curves are downward sloping basically, and they are convex to the origin. So when you have a line of this shape, something like this, so we say it is convex to the origin 0, and then when you have a line like this, is it convex or concave? Okay, so this origin, let's leave that. Okay, now we have if you have something like this. So what is the slope telling us? Now look at it. I drew a straight line here. Not really a straight line. Okay, it's a straight line. Okay, to talk about the kind of gradient you have here, and kind of another straight line to talk about the gradients that you have here. So now looking at it, starting from this point moving to the right. And from this point moving to the right, look at the kind of slope that we have. So we are having this type of slope. Now, and as you move from left to right, the slope continues to change until you then have something like this. Something like this. Oh, sorry. Something like this. Now, when you compare this line to this line, what do you conclude? Now, you see, this line is gentler or flatter. So that's another adjective that we use when we talk about gentle slopes. So gentle slopes are flat slopes, or they become flatter, whatever it is that you want to call them. So this other line, this other line is steeper than this line. Okay, so if one were to fall from this point and get to the bottom, the injury would be more than if one were to fall from the beginning of this point to this point. Okay, so this one is friendlier, that is, it is more gentle, or that is, it is gentle than this particular line. So now that is telling us that an indifference curve has a steep slope from the beginning if you are moving from the left to the rightward part of it, and at the end of the day it has a gentle slope. Okay, so in other words, you can say that an indifference curve, the slope of an indifference curve decreases as you move from the left to the right of it. As you move from the left to the right of it. Okay, or the slope of an indifference curve becomes more friendly, that is, it becomes more gentle as you move from the left to the right of it. Okay, so that's about that. This is friendlier than this. So this is steep, this is less steep, or this is more or less gentle, more gentle than this. Alright, so then we have the total product curve. So what is this telling us? At the beginning of it, when you're moving from the left to the right, look at this line, looking at the line. So we have this kind of slope at the beginning of it. Now, if you have this kind of slope at the beginning, and then we end up having this kind of slope at the very top of it, so which slope is more friendly? So we have this slope being more friendly than the beginning. So if one were to fall from here to the bottom, and one were to fall from here, I don't mind my line, one were to fall from here to the bottom, where would you sustain the more injury? Of course, you sustain the more injury here. So this is not friendly. Okay, so if this is not friendly, that means, in other words, it is less gentle, or you can just call it more steep, or just steeper. You can just call it steeper. Okay, so this is steeper than this. This is a flatter line. Okay, a flatter line. So any word could be used for these things. So if it says a slope is flat, it simply means the slope is gentle. It simply means the slope is friendly. Okay, if you want to fall from the top of it to the bottom of it, that's if you get to the bottom at all. Something like this, you won't even get to the bottom because there is no top, there is no bottom. The point here is also the same as the point here, and if you want to fall, just stand up. There's no point getting to this place. All right, so I believe we understand that. So once again, the total product curve is steep at the beginning, and then it becomes gentle as you move from the left from the left hand side to the right hand side. So that's a wrap for slopes. So I believe you understand what steep and gentle slopes are now. So if you have a question that says that a curve is becoming less steep, okay, becoming less, that is, it is becoming friendlier, or it's becoming flatter. So I believe you know how to draw that now. Now, and if a question is coming in the other way around, that a curve is becoming less gentle or more steep, I believe you know what to do. Just make sure that, okay, your line, just make sure that if you are trying to draw 2 or 3 lines, the beginning in that case is going to be the flattest, followed by a more dangerous slope, followed by another dangerous slope. So that's about that. If you like this video, please click the subscribe button. Tell your friends about us. There's a lot of things we do. There are a lot of things we do on Economics. This should be the 110th video on this channel. So, and 106 of them are devoted to the study of economics. So, microeconomics, macroeconomics, mathematical economics. And over time, I think from next week or thereabouts, we will start having class on econometrics and all of that. So, thank you very much for watching once again. See you next time.